الحمد لله. أعتقد تقدر تشوف الحضور معانا.
I see حميد باشا نجمة طلعت.
students as well.
شباب صغير صح؟ شو على الكاميرا؟
أنا نظرة كتير كده. First of all, thank you so much, Walid, for being with us today. Actually, Professor Hajjar, Najma Hajjar, and so that you would be here in person.
Yes.
Not over Skype.
Yeah, I know. These days, being a Yemeni American, being a Yemeni or having anything to bad news with Yemen. Yeah, so it's a big thing again. So we have to slow down on that, I guess, until things clear out. And all the courts do their business.
Are you telling us that you can't really leave, that you don't dare?
I can, of course, but you know, there is so much work needs to be done here, I guess.
Sure.
So, and actually, this, like having you over Skype from the Trump land is a good opportunity to introduce a scholar under Trump. So, Professor Walid Mahdi.
The first one. Huh? He would be the first one.
The first one.
The first.
Hey, after Trump.
First one.
First speaker.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You
From the US,
travel on
yeah.
American or Yemeni passport?
No, American.
I'm American, of course.
He got the passport.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, you know.
So, thank you so much, Professor Mahdi, for being with us tonight, today, in your time. And Professor Mahdi was here. Whoever attended the workshop, the book workshop in January, was here. He presented a paper in that workshop. He got his bachelor degree from Yemen. Then he traveled to the US, where he conducted his master's and PhD at the University of Minnesota. No, master's in University of New Mexico, and then in American Studies, and then PhD at the University of Minnesota in American Studies as well. And then upon graduation from University of Minnesota, he got his first job at the American University?
No, George Mason.
George Mason University in Washington, D.C. And now this year he started his tenure track position at the University of Oklahoma. The same university of Professor Samer Shahada, where Professor Samer Shahada is working as well. So we have
Same department.
same department as well. Tonight, Professor Mahdi will talk us about how the U.S. filmmakers have articulated Arabness as a side of otherness, primarily advanced through Orientalists and racialized tropes. We know that in this graduate seminar, we usually focus on the methodology and usually the scholars we have. Since we started this graduate seminar, they talk about their own background, and then they started to connect what they are doing right now to how they started. And I think Professor Mahdi will put it in the same way, how he started as someone who graduated from English department, then going into American Studies, then ending up talking about, or right now he has some affiliation with the Film Studies department in the University of Minnesota. So how this kind of interdisciplinary work, how does it happen, how does it came, how does it come, and how he is able to transcend the discipline where he is specialized, whether in English literature at the very beginning and then in American Studies, to other disciplines. Professor Mahdi will examine the interplay of culture and politics in shaping the issues related to collective memory, identity formation, cultural citizenship, and national belonging. And he will give us also an idea about this paper, which the title you have on the ad for this graduate seminar. He will give us an idea about this paper, which is a work in progress right now. So, Professor Mahdi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for showing up this late in the day there. I know it's been a long day for many of you. For me, it's just the beginning. I just woke up and it's just the start. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I would like to quickly start with a personal. I hope there's, I hear echo in my head. I'm not sure if you hear that as well, but I assume that is okay, right?
You can hear some Muslim.
I'm
So,
just
all right.
trying to lower the volume, but
Better?
we can hear you well. But 1 minute, Farid, please. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I think there is something wrong with the. What should we do? أنا وطيت الصوت هنا شوية بس على أساس إنه كنت حاسس إن الصوت عالي.
Yeah.
يعني وقت صوت اللابتوب الصوت
طيب
عالي
لحظة كده.
عشان الواحد بيعمل صوت ممكن يوقف صوت اللابتوب ايوه كمان كمان يعمل يعني
Can you try, Farid?
Okay, so you're still, you good?
This is good, huh? Okay, now it's good. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
all right.
Go ahead.
Sounds great. So, okay, so anyway, so I just feel my voice is being interrupted. But anyway, I'll just try to speak as long as you hear me. Just let me know if you can't hear me for any reason. But for the record, I hear interruption in the voice and some echoes. So I did my English, my bachelor's degree in English literature back in Yemen, where I was hired as immediately after finishing. I was hired as a teaching assistant there, with the hope that I'll at some point serve as a professor down the road with degrees. I was traveling to the United States with the idea that I would be able to complete my master's and PhD and go back to the job that I was hired to do, which is basically being a professor there, and possibly help raise or contribute to raising a new generation of scholars. The hopes were high, of course. You know, nowadays you'd be following the Yemen situation, you'd see how dire the situation was. Actually, the same university that I was working with, the same college that has been bombarded and became really a battlefield zone in some way. It's so tragic to talk about this that. But anyway, the journey moves on, keeps going, and my agenda keeps on, I guess, in some way. I decided to do my master's, actually not medical studies, master's in cultural studies and comparative literature. But when I moved to PhD level, I decided to go American studies, and when it came to my work, it was more Middle East studies. So throughout my journey, really, it has been jumping from a field to another, and partly what has enabled me to navigate that, whether throughout my studies or actually at work, is my ability to carve a space for myself. That space somehow is challenging. It's a result of a journey, a lifelong journey, if you like. It's something that is shaped by ideas you encounter, people you talk to, books you read, discourses you engage with. It's again a product of a lifelong journey of struggle to define myself. Actually, being an interdisciplinary or pursuing interdisciplinary inquiry has been quite challenging as a student myself when I was a student. It's been challenging to get scholarships and fundings. I've been lucky enough to get some of them though, but it's been always a challenge to define yourself as a scholar, who you are really. That is in some way is a challenge. Not only that your ability to define yourself, but how others read you too. Being in a interdisciplinary field or creating an interdisciplinary conversation creates its own practice, not only for you as a scholar, but for others to read you as well. And it's something that I have encountered again throughout my graduate study career, and it's been career, it's been like 8 years of master's and PhD work. But at the same time, in the job market as well. Again, it's always wonderful to create a interdisciplinary way of looking, way of knowing. It's highly emphasized and encouraged during schools, but when you are in a program where there is not much emphasis on methodology and that doesn't prepare you really well to the market, it becomes challenging for you to define yourself and for others to read you as well, again, when it comes to jobs. Because at some point it comes down to this, it comes down to jobs. But not only that, before even career, defining yourself as a scholar when it comes to writing and publishing, that becomes a challenge on its own, really. Personally, for me, what has been guiding me throughout the process is an idea. And that idea made me or invited me to look at what existing bodies of scholarships at every stage of my life. And that still, of course, is taking shape in some way. But I think that was the only thing that kept me going for the most part. And the idea was something that I engaged with early on during my high school, back in the 90s, mid-90s, when the clash of civilization theory was very popularized as as a sensational, I guess, post-Cold War world system theory, if you like. It's something that has gotten the worst of us in here and there. It's something that has been polarized and continues to be, unfortunately, since 9/11, as in a very strong way, as a platform of growing here, for the most part, at least when you at the sensational rhetoric of how Islam and Arabs are being conceived in the culture. Not only the culture, of course, there are echoes of that politically as well. But that idea, the idea that they're bound to clash in some way, and that is inspired by a homogeneous way of homogeneously developed sense of civilizations. My rejection to that, the premise of the theory in some way, as a high school student, inspired me to shoot for a degree, a bachelor's degree in English, and with the hopes that I would get to know more about the West, its history, the literature, politics, everything about it, really. And that idea kept me going for the most part. When I did my master's in cultural studies and comparative literature, I took a course with about the U.S. in the Middle East and Middle East in the U.S., and that increased my appetite to learn more about it confirmed my interest in the field, and I decided to join. That's why I decided to join American Studies when I was when I was in the PhD at the PhD level. And I worked with a number of scholars that helped me shape the space for myself. Now, again, I just want to emphasize the fact that being or trying to create a interdisciplinary space for yourself is challenging. That is something that is somehow doable, and it's very personal, right? In American Studies, as a PhD student, it's like any other field study, like a Middle East study. These are very broad studies, we say. And they allow folks who are interested in humanities or social sciences to bring their own methodologies, really, along the way. And I work with social scientists, and I work with folks in humanities, and I try to learn how to navigate the contours of that, but at the same time, how to arrive at a methodology that speaks to me as a person, speaks to my ability to, my interest and my commitment to the question, research question that I'm developing, and it's something that keeps me going along the way as well. Now, I have been told that I'm quite good. I'm not sure, correct. I don't know. I've been told that I'm quite good in connecting with people, and that I would make an excellent anthropologist. I'd make an excellent ethnographer. I'd be a very good ethnographer. But none of those methodologies spoke to me at a personal, very personal level. And discourse analysis, critical analysis, visual analysis is the thing that stood to me. Really, and again, part of that is somehow shaped by the scholars that I engage with and the books that I read. Now, I share with you an article that I published with Masher, and that article is titled Post-Oriented Otherness, Hollywood's Moral Geography of Arab Americans. That article constitutes the first chapter, or at least part of the first chapter of my current book project. And by the way, I'm working 2 book projects. The current one deals with cinema and Arab Americans and how Arab Americans are considered in cinema. The second book project will be inspired by the collaboration that we have in Delta, the transcultural identity collaboration. My hope with that project is that I'll work around the Yemeni scene and look at how cultural producers have, in some ways, reflected and affected the political situation in that very country. But I'll quickly talk about my own favorite projects, as it's something that I'm working on and something that I shared an example with you, and quickly just introduce you to the highlight of what I'm thinking of, and hopefully I will hear more from you as we go forward. So initially, the whole idea of paper is based on the project itself, the book itself, which I'm currently writing. It's called Arab Americans in Films, Representations of Otherness and Belonging in U.S. Arab Cinemas. And the reason I have to look at this because it keeps changing every day or every other week. The title keeps changing as you write. Things keep changing all the time until possibly the editor, the press editor, will have to pick their own title and will be an uphill battle from there. But anyway, so the idea is in my work, I look at how Americans and Arab educators have imagined Arab Americans. So how have Arab Americans been defined in these 2 cinematic spaces? But I don't stop there. I also look at a new emerging post-9/11 burgeoning Arab American filmmaking experience, and through that I look at how they define their own self. But the main guiding question that throughout these 3 different cinematic spaces for me is again questions of identity, belonging, and cultural citizenship. So how do Arab Americans, how do they get to be defined others, and at the same time, how do they define themselves as well? The whole premise of the project is a challenge basically to the nationalist construction of identity. Usually in American studies, and for the most part in traditional Arab American studies, Arab Americans have been looked at, read through a very American nationalistic sort of paradigm. So many issues related to assimilation, acculturation, minority status. So much of that has been covered by many scholars who field Arab American studies for us. But only recently, I would argue the second decade of the 21st century, that Arab American scholars have started to seriously initiate a national conversation that try to see how Arab Americans could be read and read, defined and read through a transnational lens. And my project speaks to that rising interest, that momentum that's being, as we speak, built up. There are 4 or 5 scholars who have produced books. I continue to do so, and my work will speak to that. So the idea is, if we were to unsettle the national as a category of analysis that has been dominant in the field of Arab American studies, what can we uncover? What are the inquiries, the questions that will emerge? How can we define the material that we work with if we were to unsettle that national category of analysis and bring a transnational perspective to that? And when I do it, what I arrive at it in 2 ways. One, the unsettling happens through paradigm framework. So I unsettle the national paradigm or national framework analysis through comparatively Arab, in this case it's mostly Egyptian filmmaker. So the comparative itself, what it does, it decenters the United States as the primary way of reading people like Arab Americans in this case. But it's something that has been, since the 90s, growth, the field of studies has been an interesting, growing movement that tries to decenter the United States. And actually, we call transnational American studies. And it's been picked up by institutions like the American University of Beirut, for example, where scholars have made use of the center there in producing scholarship that engage the United States from a transnational perspective. Now, this growing interest in the United States and abroad, of course, the Arab world is not the only case here. If you look at other African studies centers globally, you'll see that interest as well. The idea is, let us imagine a world or knowledge being produced away from the traditional way of looking at things. So if I were to do a comparative of filmmaking in Egypt and the United States, I would immediately realize that there are other narratives out there that are equally important to Arab Americans, yet are mindful articulations in knowledge, in part because knowledge is somehow contingent on the English leadership, American in this case, mostly American scholars and American readers at the same time. So what I arrive at is an attempt basically to decenter again that body of knowledge and what are the conversations, what are the questions, the issues that are at the background of Egyptian filmmakers when they produce their knowledge of Americans. Now, of course, the immediate realization that I have is the immediate observation you get when you look at these two cinematic sites is that there is a tendency to use binaries and polarization as a way to define Arab Americans. And in this case, Arab Americans become, there is this interest in Arab Americans themselves and more investment in producing a critique of the Arabs, if you like. So in the case of Hollywood, it's a reliance on a history and tradition or influence partly shaped by its racialized tendencies of the Arab. In the case of Egypt, it's what I call an overlapping sort of nationalist, pan-Arab, as well as Islamist critique of the United States. That is, again, in both cases, Arab Americans are reduced to a site where the industry seem to polarize on. But I don't stop there. I highlight the issue, the problem, but I move beyond that. I try to look at how are there new attempts, new efforts by filmmakers in Hollywood, Egyptian cinema, by Arab American filmmakers themselves to go beyond those polarizations, to imagine a new way of what they're all mentioning. And I do look at these efforts, and what I end up with is a model, basically, that I argue somehow captures the Arab American transnational sense of belonging, and that is shaped by 3 things. One is an emphasis in going beyond the terrorist citizenship, the terrorist citizen construct that is dominant here in the United States, that constantly questions folks like the Yemeni and that always define us as the culture within. It's a cultural filter within in some way. If you look at some of the American cases here, some American citizens have been stopped in many of the airports before heading out their overseas trips and being interrogated. But the extreme part of that was being asked to hand their phones and get their phone inspected, and not only phones, social media, password, and all that. So it is a constant struggle for one's space in this kind of environment. So one of the ways I imagine these to take an African identity to be considered in a transnational context is, again, to have ways that would move from the conversation of the citizen terrorists. Not that this conversation is irrelevant or very important, but it's not the only thing that defines who we are. And it's, of course, there are many more issues that we're dealing with. And the second thing is the idea of social activism. So how Arab Americans have defined themselves transnationally. In what extent Arab Americans have been engaged in Arab geopolitics? Would be that Arab-Israeli conflict or ongoing turmoil that we're unfortunately, what extent they are producing or interacting or engaging with the critique of America without necessarily giving up that sense of belonging to the American context here, of course. And the last thing, the third component of that transnational model is something that invests in issues of agency and self-representation. And here the emphasis is in the individual rather than the collective. So and this is a methodological issue that we always come across when we do analysis of this sort, and possibly you, if you choose to do this as well, you probably come across this as well, is that when you talk about a group of people, when you talk about Americans, Middle Easterns, Arabs, and Arab Americans, what do you really mean by these terms? These are social constructs, these are bound by certain religion affiliations. These are constantly changing according to space of time. When we say Arab Americans, who are we really talking about here? It's almost impossible to even configure such an identity to begin with. Not only because of complexity of the here and there, but also because of the complexity of the communities, if you like, that complexity is partly shaped by religion, nationality, age and generation, issues of concern, partisanship, Democrats or Republicans, and yes, there are many Americans who are pro-Trump. Like there were many who were pro-Bush. So it's kind of almost impossible to even imagine talking about an Arab American identity without giving close attention to that particular aspect of it. So the totality of these three aspects, and again, I derive these three things from films. So what I do is basically, at the beginning of the book, where I try to highlight the polarizations, I do try to offer a historical account of the cinematic engagement. That's the first part of it. And when I try to move beyond the polarizations and try to look at these issues, then I pick films individually for specific efforts, and I took all of these through secondary scholarship, and at the same time also through a look at government reactions, government policies, records out there that somehow implicate our lives to a great extent. So what you have, the paper that you have with you is part of that attempt to historicize, offer that historical account of Hollywood's engagement with the Arab American nation. And in this paper, I argue that the 70s produced a new moral geography. Before the 70s, there was a moral geography, and there is still actually that moral geography. It's still operating for a large extent. And that moral geography is defined by the Orientalist paradigm of us and them, basically. It's geography. It's a more geography that deals with the Orient as in a way that consumes the Orient what remains distant from, as